Hey there, Solo here, and today I want to introduce you all to a new segment that we're going to call Last Week at Bungie. And this will be our opportunity to talk about some of the hot button topics, issues, discussions within the Destiny community as we prepare for the next week ahead. So hopping right into it automatically, we're going to go ahead and start off with the infamous The Lie quest, which if you're watching this, the quest is still bugged into the point where it's the last step. I am assuming it's the last step, but no one can get into it. And basically my thoughts about this are very similar to what a majority of the community is saying. It's unfortunate, it happens, we've just got to go with the motions. I will actually, for me, I attribute this to the times that we're in with the pandemic, and unfortunately, you know, there's still some systems and, you know, some staffing things that Bungie still has to figure out while they're adjusting to this time. But my position is basically I'm happy that they're discovering it now in a season that not very many people are participating in, that, you know, many people don't really like, for lack of a better phrase. But it's just in the season where, you know, the population is still good, it's low. I'd rather them figure out these issues now rather than getting to a good point or getting into the September expansion and then all of a sudden having this happen and one of the heights of when the Destiny community skyrockets. So basically it sucks. They're working on it. They've been really vocal about saying, hey, we're looking into this, don't worry. Hopefully we'll be able to see something within the next week. Now the next topic I want to discuss is of course weapon sunsetting, which really has a lot of the community on two sides of the fence. Either you're for it or you're against it. I know that there's been some people who have, you know, started deleting every weapon that they've had. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be done in a protest manner or if they just really think, oh, well, there's no point in me keeping this weapon anyway. It's just going to die. But my whole thoughts about weapon sunsetting is that it is a good thing. And I personally feel like this will not hinder my Destiny experience. For those that, you know, really do believe that I guess it goes back to that argument about their time investment in the game and how by sunsetting the weapons does not respect their grind and how they spend so much time grinding for a weapon, and Bungie is now just, you know, making that seem ineffective. I really don't understand, because that is the heart of Destiny, and not just the heart in a theoretical sense, but literally, that has been something that we've been doing since Destiny first started. You get a weapon, you earn it, you do whatever hardcore task that you have to do, you earn it, you get it. That next season or next DLC, Bungie comes out with a new weapon, a stronger weapon, and what do? You say, well, I need to get that weapon, so you put all this time and investment into that new weapon to get that strong weapon, and then you use it until the next DLC/season. It's this whole big circle that we keep doing, but all of a sudden now that they had a small gap in saying, hey, well, you grinded out for this really strong weapon, you can always infuse it, but that comes at a cost of we've had to create really insanely strong content, because we all know you're going to use this certain loadout, you're going to use these certain weapons. And so they did that. One of the more notable things or notable activities that they did that to was the Reckoning, and everyone hated it. And we all hated it because we had to use, there's actually only one loadout that you had to use. You had to use your supers, you had to use like your heavy weapons. It was very predictable, and the community expressed very loudly like that is not what they like to use. I hate being in a situation where I'm trying to do a powerful, you know, activity, whether it be raids or nightfalls, and people are telling me, oh, well, you need to change to use this weapon, you need to change to use this weapon, because that's just the way that a lot of people in the community do it, and there's no freedom to be able to use a lot of weapons. You have to use this weapon. And so basically it's just them going back to weapon sunsetting will allow them to continue to create, you know, still strong weapons, but not have to worry about someone using a weapon that they earned 2 years ago. But because it's so powerful, they're not going to change up any other weapons, but at the same time, they're going to continue to complain that Destiny does not have any meaningful content. No, it's not the content that's not meaningful. It's the weapons. It's the rewards. And they're not meaningful to you because the weapon is not strong enough. So you're not going to engage with the content because it seems pointless for you. So I feel like that is the underlying argument about weapon sunsetting, and I actually think this is a good thing. I think, you know, for everyone that is, you know, going like, hey, this is horrible, you're not respecting my time. If you've been playing for the past 6 years of the franchise's existence, it's nothing new. It's nothing to worry about. We'll be fine at the end of the day. And now the last point of discussion I want to talk about is actually something that I feel very passionate about. And it really, again, seems like one of those issues that you're either on one side of the fence or you're on the other. And that, of course, is account recoveries. Now, I know this is more applicable to the PvP side in terms of Trials of Osiris, but account recoveries have been going on for a while, not even just in PvP, but also for PvE. And my instance is I don't agree with it. I think it is not a good practice. However, I do understand some people are monetizing their skills and their abilities, in which I feel like, hey, we live in a capitalist society, in a capitalist nation. Of course, they would go about that. But just because you have the ability to do something does not make it right. Now, does it classify account recoveries within that same sphere as cheating? Absolutely not. But it's still in the section of, okay, but that is not right. I personally don't see how anyone can defend it in terms of where everyone, I know that there are some people that really feel, oh, well, it's the same thing as if someone else, you know, as if the original account owner would have done the activity. The person doing the recovery still has to do the activity. No harm, no foul. Yes, there is harm and there is foul, because depending on the activity, they are dismantling the systems that Bungie has put in place in order to keep the activity's integrity. Just think of, for an example, anything in PvP. Like, I say let's exclude Trials of Osiris, but honestly and personally, I feel like there's some level of skill-based matchmaking into that playlist, but that's a topic for another video at another time. But let's just think, okay, for PvP competitive, people running account recoveries to get a pinnacle weapon. Competitive PvP is based off of several factors, including your skill points. I believe there's still some sort of skill-based matchmaking in there. And so if Johnny 0.2 KD has now hired someone with over a 1.0 KD, and they're in Bungie's matchmaking system is saying, well, Johnny 0.2 KD is playing, let's match him with other 0.2 KDs. All of a sudden, everyone's getting wrecked and they have no idea why. So with that, you're now giving the community a bad experience in competitive, but also you are making Bungie's system faulty, because I'm not sure if that system is like an ever learning, ever adapting, but the information that you're spreading or putting into that system, it's faulty, it's false. And so, you know, taking that idea over to Trials, where it's happening a lot more, I still feel like you're part of the reason why the playlist is failing. And I know that is such a strong statement to make, but in the end, you are, because if people are going through and, you know, we all know that a lot of people are using, you know, trials reports, some of those third-party applications that are really giving people, you know, some sort of advantage as to, you know, what loadouts they're using, what their match history is and everything. And they see that, oh, okay, this person has a 0.7 KD, I feel like I'll be able to do really good with this. And then all of a sudden, it turns out that you paid someone with a 3.0 KD, then that person is not going to want it. Not only are they not going to want to come back to trials, but they're never going to touch the mode again. For what? So it just really bothers me when people go automatically jump to the defense of account recoveries under the guise of, well, at least they're not cheating. You know, there's worse things that you can do out there. Yes, there is worse things that you can do out there, but it doesn't change the fact that they are part of the problem. At this point, I can't think of any solutions because that is the issue, right? You can't really detect who is playing on someone's account at one time. You have to, there's more systems in there. And I know that there's other content creators out there that says, you know, right now, yes, it is a problem, but it's definitely not something that Bungie should be worrying about at this moment, which to that degree, I do agree as well. But I just feel like this should be something at the top of their, not at the top of their radar, but this should be something on their radar. But just the attitudes about it, it needs to change. It's not a good thing. It's not a harmless thing. It's not a, well, if they want to spend their money on it, they can spend their money on it. But again, that's another topic for another day. I just, you know, in the discussion of everyone talking about account recoveries and the account recovery sympathizers out there, I completely disagree with you. There's nothing excusable about charging someone for an accomplishment that you should be encouraging them to do for themselves. Now, carry is a completely different thing because they're actively involved in the pursuit of that weapon, of that achievement. That's something different. But we are not having that discussion. We're talking about account recoveries. But that is it. That is all that I had in my, you know, keeping in touch with the Destiny community. Let me know in the comments below if there was something that happened last week that really caught your attention, whether it was something that someone said, something that happened in game that really took you by surprise, or something that you want to talk about. As I always say, sharing is caring. But thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to see more content like this, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. I really do appreciate everyone. So thank you again, and I will catch you in the next one. Solo says, so long.